Doodling, 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 doodling with Dawn.
Hi friends, today on Doodling with Dawn, that's me, Dawn Marie Paul. I'm going to talk a little bit about how and why I got started doodling. So if you haven't been in my world, then you wouldn't know some things about me, so I'm just going to share a little bit of background. When I was younger, I wanted to travel the world, so I became a travel agent, and then I ended up marrying an Air Force guy, so we traveled all over. This final move, we moved last year, so I've been in Nebraska now for a year. This was my 30 or 31st move since I left high school. So I've been to college 7 times. I've had multiple kinds of jobs. I am a mom and a wife, and I'm just going to come out and say it. I am a multi-potentialite. What that means is that I have very many interests that I like equally. I've tried to niche down so hard over so many years. I learned skills and then I just get bored. I have ADHD. No surprise to the people that know me, a little surprising to me. Just like I was very surprised when I discovered I was an artist, even though all the people around me kind of already knew it. So I spent several years really dialing down on crocheting and knitting. I love yarn. I love the texture. I love the bold colors. I have a lot of allergies, so I tend to use acrylic yarn mostly, or I can do some alpaca. And cotton, of course, 100% cotton. And then my daughter was growing up, and my husband, I had a 2-year associate's degree, and my husband encouraged me to go back to college, and I decided I wanted to write. And so then I went back to college and I got my bachelor's degree in humanities, and because I love all things like people, cultures, belief systems. I'm really into that. And then I added a English literature minor. I love everything like British, Scottish. I'm really into that stuff. I love traveling. I love that stuff too. And then from there I graduated, and then I started this journey with the Lord I've been on. I started a crochet business, and he took me immediately back to writing. And then I wrote for several years, and I was doing all right in my crochet business. I was starting to sell internationally, and then went back to writing, published several books. Through that process, I ended up, the Lord was like, you need to illustrate. And I was like, no, I don't. My daughter went to art school, so I was trying to get her to illustrate my books. She didn't really want anything to do with that, which is fine. She has her own life. So then I started the art process, and I joined a mentorship program where this Matt Tommy mentoring, I was in that for 4 years, where I really buckled down and like got close to the Lord. And that was the best thing for me, because I'm in my 50s, and there's a lot of life I lived, and there's a lot of trauma in my life. And so that really started to help me heal. So the Lord kind of was like, okay, Dawn, you're going to do this thing. And so I'm like, well, I started doing it, and I was like, I am not good at this. I loved art as a kid. I spent a lot of time painting and doing crafts and stuff with my grandma. And so I started illustrating my books because the Lord told me to. And I thought, okay, you need help. So I started taking a lot of art classes. Took watched YouTube videos of different artists, and took some classes through Christy Partridge, and I took some Milan Art Institute classes. I've been with Karen Campbell for 3 years at Awesome Art School now. And I just got done taking a couple of James Brown lessons. He's a fantasy artist. I've taken all kinds of things. I've taken colored pencil, oil painting, drawing, painting. And I enjoy taking other people's lessons. And like, I'm a lifetime member at Awesome Art School now. And the best thing that I learned from Karen Campbell was to not be precious with your art. Like, it's okay. I have struggled with perfectionism my whole life. And so it's okay to make mistakes, which is kind of crazy because in the doodling, that's what I'm doing. Like, none of my circles are circular. None of my lines are perfectly straight. It was wintertime, and I was feeling pretty blue. We all go through things in life that are not helpful. Something happened, and it actually sent me down this other road. I went to therapy, and that's where I have discovered I'm ADHD. So this is new for me, and it's not very surprising to the people that know me, but it was surprising to me a little. And just as it was surprising when I discovered I was an artist. So yeah. Anyway, so I started illustrating, learning more art, and it got to a point where there was a day where my mom was like, Dawn, you have to stop taking lessons and you gotta start doing your own thing. And I was like, no. I mean, she said that a couple times over the years, and I don't know why. Fear rises up in us sometimes, and it's not justifiable, it's not explainable, it just happens. And so I don't know, that day, I think it was in March this year, 2024, I was just feeling the blues of winter. I was like, well, maybe I'll try to do something of my own. What do I want to do? Well, I love bold colors and I love flowers, and everybody loves flowers, and everybody does the same, does flowers, realistic flowers and crazy, awesome flowers. And I'm like, I don't want to do the same. I don't want to do the same as everyone else. Right. And so I just started doing what made me happy, and one thing that makes me happy is working with markers, which is kind of funny, but it's because the inks are so bold and bright that I just really love them. So I sat down, and I mean, it's not like I haven't drawn flowers before. I've drawn tons and tons of flowers, but I just made some very simple shapes, and I started putting patterns in them, and I was like, what is this? This is amazing. Now, I thought, okay, what is this? Is this, should I look up Zentangling? Because I heard so much about that. And in Awesome Art School, Karen does some lessons on that. But what I discovered with Zentangling is it's a specific type of process, and you actually can get certified in the process. And it starts with dots, which I don't do. And so it goes from there, making shapes or connecting lines and things. And there's a whole like dynamic of people who just have all these things called tangles, and so they have patterns that they've invented for Zentangling, and it's crazy and it's glorious and it's wonderful, but it's not what I'm doing. We have so much anxiety and depression in our society right now. So much is being said about being mindful. And while I agree that is something that is really wonderful, if you are capable of doing that, be mindful. Make a beautiful Zentangle drawing. Some people, like me, struggle with that. Not the fact of like focusing on that, but the fact that if we put a pen to paper in our hand, it keeps our hands busy so that our minds are able to focus better. I have a squirrel brain. Like, my brain jumps from thing to thing to thing to thing. And I am so blessed. God has been so good giving me, one of my best friends is the same. And so she can follow me. And a couple of my best friends, actually, they can just follow. If I have 5 conversations going on, they're on top of all of them. And so I've been really lucky that way. And maybe that's why I didn't know until I was this old that I thought it was just, oh, that's an artistic brain or that's a something brain. And no, I went to a conference where I met other artists and they didn't all think like that. And I was like, well, what are you talking about? I thought all artistic, creative people were, jumped around in their minds, and it's not true. So what I discovered through that process of sitting alone, listening to some music, just futzing with a pen on the paper, is that it's calmed my mind enough that I could focus. My hands were busy, so in the background my subconscious is doing the hand thing, and so the forefront of my mind, my consciousness, can really focus on something I want to focus on. And it doesn't take medication. I don't have to self-medicate with alcohol or any other thing that some people do to cope. So perhaps doodling is just another coping mechanism for me, but it also, after doing it for anywhere after, for me it's 30 minutes or more. Once I sit down to do it, like the outside world, it just shuts off in my brain, and I just sit there and all I'm doing is grabbing, picking colors or deciding what line I want to draw, so that my subconscious is busy doing that while or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's my conscious mind is doing that and my subconscious mind, I don't know what it is. I don't have the medical degree to explain it, but what I will say is that my hands are busy. I'm making very short, insignificant decisions. So my brain, I can really think through things that I want to. I can problem solve, I can worship, I can pray for people, I can focus on the word. And what's really funny is that the more I do it, the more I love it. The process of the doodling is very soothing. It's also very healing, because as you doodle, you can process feelings that you maybe don't want to talk about, or some things can come up from your past that memories can pop back that you don't remember, and then you can actually process that through the art. You can connect with God through art. It's just crazy. It's like the first thing that God ever did was created. And so he made us in his image. Well, I think that one of the things he made us like him was the creation. I think we need to create. And I think that when we do, it does solve problems for us, or helps us to solve problems for ourselves. And it also heals, and it gives us a base. Like after a session, I am so calm and I could feel like I can face anything. Like it's pretty crazy. And so I've also been very surprised. I've been trying different kinds of pens and markers, and I've tried watercolor, like doodling on watercolor paper, doodling on regular paper, and doodling. I found a paper I like best, which is Hammermill premium color cover copy paper. It's got the lizard on the front, and I like micron pens best. That's just what I like. That's how I make my doodle pages, and then from there anything goes. Crayola markers, Sharpies, micron color fine liners. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can use artist supplies or you can use kid supplies. It doesn't matter. It's the process more than the outcome. However, I will say that I really like my doodles. Because I am an artist and I've had so much training, I do like to start with a somewhat cohesive composition to begin with. And so then they do look like something, and then they don't look like the same thing. And of course, you can vary your colors and line weights, and it's just endless. It's like there's just never, it's not confined, which is something for me that I really need. I need to have freedom, and I need to have possibility. Those are the things that give me dopamine hits, because with an ADHD brain, your brain lacks dopamine, and so you're always chasing the new, chasing the exciting, chasing the different. And so the doodling gives me the dopamine hits that calms me, and I don't even have to do it every day. You can live your life, do your laundry, wash your dishes, knit your things, write your things. You can work your job, and then just take when you feel like there's a moment where, I don't think I can deal with this right now. Go sit down at your table and make a flower, put some lines in the petals. I mean, just continue. So a lot of people focus on mindfulness, which I think is great if you can. For me, I focus on mindlessness. I focus, like, the less decisions I have to make about what I'm drawing, the better it works for me. So yeah, that's how I got started. I felt like this was another thing I was adopting for a while, because I don't stick with anything, but that's just because I'm a multi-potentialite and I like so many things equally, and I don't want to give up any of them, and I don't want to, but I don't have to. and that's the nice thing. So I decided that because I love doodling so much, I'm going to make a series of videos on it and see where it goes. And that's what you're watching. You're watching this series of videos. There's 16 to start with. After that, I might continue on because I'm going to be continuing doodling. And so I just want to say, if this was too much information, then I apologize. But if you've stayed this long, then I thank you for joining me. And there's no doodle this week that I'm not providing a doodle, but you can still doodle your own thing and put on some music, whatever kind you like. I think that it's kind of funny. For the videos, I've been downloading from the YouTube studio, and there is several styles of music, and so I have classified my music choices, which are all instrumental, basically. I think there's one that has some baby giggles in it, which is cute, but I classified them kind of into happy music or tropical music or jazzy music, and so I kind of theme each video towards that music a little bit. So I'll pick like jazz songs for one and then tropical songs for the next one. I'll be honest with you, I love all of the music that I've picked, but the tropical is my favorite. I like the steel drum sound. It makes me feel like beaches and palm trees and light breezes. So anyway, hope you enjoy the music that's with these. They're very soothing. You can watch them. You can, I think I have like 10 of the videos. I have free downloadable printable doodle pages that you can print off or trace or whatever you want to do, and you can doodle along with me, or you can doodle by yourself, and you can use the doodles. doodling. You can doodle, print them for your kids or your classroom or whatever. They're just free out there in the world for trying to help other people. I hope you enjoy them. I hope you enjoy the videos. And if you do, I hope that you like my videos, and I hope that you subscribe to the channel, but especially I hope that you share them with other people who are struggling with anxiety and depression, because it is a coping mechanism for the current world that we're living in, and I think that God has given it to me to share. So I just I thank him, and I thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy.